Hello ladies and gentlemen and movie lovers of all kind, and welcome back to the channel. As always, I am your host Brett Murphy, and for today's video we are going to be starting a brand new series on my channel titled The Best Of. I know, how original, right? So essentially in this new series, I am going to be looking at every movie in a big franchise, every season of a TV series, or every video game in a franchise, and choosing a best of topic and picking one from each individual thing. So for some examples, I could be looking at the best moment in every movie of whatever, the MCU or something, or I could be looking at the best boss fights in every video game in a certain series. Or I could change it up a little bit and say the funniest moment from every season of The Office or Friends or something. And for today, we are kicking off this series with a big one, as I'm going to be looking at the best moment from every Spider-Man movie. Of course, too, I will be discussing some honorable mentions because most of these movies are jam-packed with unforgettable moments that I do feel need just a bit of addressing. You know, just to show them some love. And of course, I want to issue right here, right now, a major spoiler warning, as I will be going pretty in-depth to some major spoilers from each of these movies. And this will include the recently released Spider-Man No Way Home, so you have been warned. Before I hop into the actual video, I just wanted to let you all know that I have entire playlists dedicated to all of my series on my channel. So be sure to check one of them out, and I guarantee you'll find something you like. And so, without further ado, let's hop right into things. Spider-Man 2002. Others that were considered for this spot were The Choice, The Building Firefight, The Goblin's Proposal, and The Fair Attack. The one that was likely the closest to snagging this best moment spot was the apartment building fire scene. The Goblin's surprise attack, the pumpkin bomb splitting into all those flying blades, and Spidey dodging them in slow-mo, just cinematic excellency. And by far my favorite part as a kid. But man, oh man, as I have grown older, the more and more I love and appreciate this final fight. And that is why it is my pick for the best moment in this first Spider-Man movie. It is brutal, hard-hitting, and honestly quite shocking at times that they were able to get away with some of this. As superhero movies have begun to lean more and more into their big CGI-filled finales, I have looked back on this one with more and more admiration. Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 being my favorite Spider-Man movie, I love pretty much each and every second. There are countless memorable moments. Doc Ock's hospital scene, the bank fight, Aunt May's "There's a Hero in All of Us" speech, or even the final confrontation where Otto realizes the error of his ways and sacrifices himself to save the city. But for this one, I have decided to go with the iconic subway train fight. It is exhilarating from beginning to end. Fighting on the train, fighting inside the train, Doc Ock and Spider-Man using their powers and abilities to cleverly counter one another, and Doc Ock creating unique little challenges for Spidey to solve all along the way. It concludes with an unmasked Peter stopping the train at the last possible second, giving us the now infamous Tobey Maguire poop face, and a group of New Yorkers banding together and sticking up for him. Spider-Man 3. Look, I really do feel like this is the weakest Spider-Man movie, but it is not without its charm and memorable moments. Sandman's transformation, the final fight, Harry's sacrifice, the symbiote suit reveal, or even Peter's big dance number. For the conclusion of Raimi's trilogy, I have gone with yet another memorable fight, that I like to call the Underground Sandman Throwdown. This is what I truly wanted from the symbiote suit Spider-Man. Not the weird, emo, overconfident dancing Peter. I wanted this angry, dark, unhinged, ruthless Peter. This fight is surprisingly violent, as Peter seeks revenge once again for the death of Uncle Ben. It's dark and edgy in the tone that I really wish the movie stuck with as a whole. The Amazing Spider-Man. I do feel this to be one of the weaker Spidey movies too. However, just like Spider-Man 3, there's still a lot to love. The sewer tracking, the final fight, even if Lizard's plan is pretty stupid, the high school showdown was the closest to making it, as it is a great fight, but also features one of my favorite Stan Lee cameos. However, I have chosen to go with the bridge scene, as in the little boy being saved from the falling, flaming SUV in particular. I truthfully and honestly believe this to be one of the purest Spider-Man moments to ever grace the silver screen. Everything about it screams Spider-Man to me. showcasing pretty early on in the movie why Andrew Garfield was the perfect choice for this early 2010s Peter Parker. The Amazing Spider-Man 2. This movie as a whole really isn't great, but it has a lot of fantastic moments sprinkled in here and there. The Times Square fight, Aunt May's "My Boy" speech, the opening swing, the final fight with Electro, or Peter's return as Spidey where he backs up the little boy sticking up to Rhino, which, just like my pick for the first Amazing Spider-Man movie, I believe is another one of the most genuine Spider-Man moments. But for this one, how could I not address the elephant in the room? The biggest scene in this movie, one of the most iconic moments in any Spider-Man movie or comic, the death of Gwen Stacy. Truly one of the most devastating and utterly heartbreaking moments in movie history, if you ask me. Garfield pours his heart and soul into it, and he totally sells it. Even if you absolutely hate this movie for whatever reason, there's just no denying how impactful and crushing this moment is. Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man Homecoming was of course the MCU's first solo Spidey flick, and with it came some pretty big expectations. Thankfully, to most, including myself, it totally stuck the landing, giving us some big superhero moments and a lot of little down-to-earth moments too. I could have went with the ferry sequence, or the Washington Monument save, or even the "Come on Spider-Man" scene. Instead, I will be giving it to this movie's totally unexpected and undeniably clever reveal that the Vulture, the main villain of this movie, Adrian Toomes, is in fact Liz's father, our hero's love interest of this story. This jaw-dropping moment followed by the simple and plain point-blank threat when Liz exits the car when they finally arrive to the homecoming dance gives me goosebumps each and every time as Michael Keaton works his magic. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This is easily among the most brilliant animated movies ever made, with a plethora of incredible moments. The lab escape, learning to web swing, meeting the rest of the spiders and getting their backstories, the Prowler reveal, the house fight with Uncle Aaron's death, or any moment in the chaotic and colorfully vibrant final fight. But for this one, I will be going with the "What's Up Danger" moment. Truly one of the most breathtaking moments I have ever seen in a movie, animated or not. That moment just has me in awe every single time. And then the music kicks in and the adrenaline just starts pumping. Spider-Man Far From Home. This one too had some very high standards to live up to, coming hot off the heels of the release of Avengers Endgame. In the eyes of most people, I would say that this one too stuck the landing pretty well, with countless moments that easily could have been deemed the best. Any of the fights with any of the elementals, the big villainous reveal behind Mysterio's scheme, any of Peter and MJ's adorably authentic interactions, the big final fight, and the two closest among them to taking this spot were the "You Can't Trick Me Anymore" scene and the shocking end credits scene. But I will be deeming the best moment in this movie to be Mysterio's illusion. When Peter goes to meet up with Nick Fury but instead finds himself wrapped up in Mysterio's most complex, personal, and mind-bending illusion yet that truly brings our hero to his breaking point. Oh, he is also then quite literally hit by a train afterwards. Spider-Man No Way Home. This was easily among the most hyped movies of all time. In fact, it might actually be the most hyped movie of all time. I mean, I swear that this reached Endgame and Infinity War levels of hype. There is an endless amount of moments that I could have chosen from here. Seeing any and all of the old villains return, Matt Murdock's reveal, Peter and Doctor Strange's fight, the apartment building fight, Aunt May's death, Tobey Maguire and/or Andrew Garfield's return, any portion of the final act, Peter returning to the coffee shop, or even the reveal of the new suit. For this final Spider-Man film that we have as of right now, I'm going to be picking just one moment from this big, grand final fight. And that is when all three of the Spider-Men make their epic superhero landing on the top of the Statue of Liberty. It was one thing seeing them interact, seeing them all on screen together at the same time, and fighting alongside one another. But the three of them all landing together perfectly in sync like that will definitely be going down as one of of the most iconic shots in comic book movie history. I mean, that was it right there. That was the money shot. It's what we all came to see, and they totally delivered. So that is all for today's video, folks. Be sure to let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with the best moments that I have picked. While you're at it, feel free to let me know what your favorite moments were from each Spider-Man movie. Feel free to suggest what you'd like to see me cover next on this new series. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And if you'd like to see more content, consider subscribing to my channel and ringing that little bell icon. That way you can be notified about all of my latest uploads. And as always, stay safe. Thank you so much for watching. And that's a wrap. Hey you, yeah you, if you made it this far, just know I appreciate you, and while you're here, consider hitting that subscribe button.